All right, so today we're going deep with Yasmine El-Mehairy.
Okay.
She's a three-time entrepreneur, and she's really making waves in finance,
Mm-hmm.
specifically when it comes to Muslim women.
Interesting.
We're mostly pulling from a YouTube interview she did with Kestrel, Muslim Money app.
Okay.
And I think her story is going to be super relatable and really insightful.
Yeah.
I mean, what really struck me was that it wasn't like this straight shot to success. You know,
Right.
there were twists and turns and accidental entrepreneurship, even some like boardroom showdowns.
Oh, wow. Yeah, she sounds like a very interesting person.
Yeah, for sure. And it makes you think, right? Even the most successful people don't always have it figured out from day one.
Absolutely not. No, I think that's a good reminder for all of us.
For sure. So let's trace her path a little bit.
Good.
Because she actually started out with a pretty impressive corporate career.
Okay.
Like we're talking IBM, Citibank, Deloitte.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Not the usual.
not your typical startup founder.
No, not at all.
Yep. So how did she make that leap then?
Well, and that's what makes it so interesting. It wasn't this calculated move into the startup world.
Why?
It just kind of happened organically.
Sure.
And it all began with her first venture, Supermama.
Supermama.
Yeah, and this was born out of a need she saw during the Egyptian Revolution back in 2011.
Oh, wow. Okay, so a very specific time and place.
Yeah, for sure.
I've heard of Supermama.
Yeah.
Wasn't that like a platform for mothers
Yeah, exactly.
with like parenting resources in Arabic or something like that?
Yeah, you got it. So her sister-in-law was actually pregnant at the time,
Oh,
and she just noticed how hard it was to find good information in Arabic.
interesting.
So she saw that gap in the market and just went for it.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it shows you that even in times of chaos, you can find opportunities
Absolutely.
if you're really paying attention.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it just shows you how those personal needs
Mm-hmm.
can really spark these incredible ventures.
For sure. So did Supermama, like, take off right away?
Well, it did gain traction,
Okay.
especially after they won this Google competition.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were finalists in this Start with Google thing.
Cool.
And that got them a lot of media attention and some investor interest.
Nice.
But, raising money in Egypt back in 2011,
Right.
not exactly easy.
I can imagine.
Like the whole idea of equity investment was still very new.
Oh, wow.
So she really had to fight for funding.
That must have been frustrating.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And on top of that,
Oh, no, there's more.
there were these internal disagreements within Supermama about like the future direction.
Okay.
Yasmine, she wanted to expand into e-commerce.
Okay.
So offering products directly through the platform.
Right.
But the board, they were more conservative
Ah,
and they just wanted to stick with content.
that's such a classic clash, isn't it?
The founder versus the board.
Yeah.
It's an age-old story.
So how did that play out?
Well, it got pretty intense.
Okay.
They just couldn't see eye to eye.
Yeah.
So eventually, Yasmine decided to step down as CEO.
Wow.
She stayed on the board, though.
Okay.
But in the end, Supermama was sold to a competitor.
Sounds like it was a pretty dramatic exit.
It definitely was.
Did that experience, like, make her rethink the whole entrepreneurship thing?
I mean, it definitely took a toll,
Right.
but that experience with Supermama, it really influenced her next venture.
Okay.
Cushies.
Cushies.
Yeah, with Cushies. She really wanted to merge business with social impact.
Okay.
So she created a design company that worked with these undiscovered artists
Cool.
and also supported women and children.
Okay, so a very purpose-driven venture.
Exactly.
What was their business model like?
So they would partner with artists,
Mm-hmm.
turn their designs into these beautiful fabrics,
Okay.
and then they would collaborate with NGOs to manufacture products
Interesting.
like cushions, bags, home decor.
Cool.
Everything was ethically sourced and produced.
Wow, that sounds like a really unique and admirable approach.
Yeah, it was.
So
but
good.
of course but
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Cushies faced its own internal challenges.
Yeah.
Yasmine had a co-founder.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually her brother-in-law's best friend
Oh.
and their working relationship.
Yeah, that sounds tricky.
It got pretty strained.
Mixing business and personal relationships.
It's tough.
Yeah, it can be really tough.
And it just highlights how important it is to choose the right co-founder.
Yeah, for sure.
Someone who shares your vision and your values.
Oh,
Someone you could really work through those tough times with.
totally. So I imagine that experience on top of the Supermama exit was pretty draining.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yasmine actually talks pretty openly about reaching a point of burnout.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that even successful entrepreneurs are human.
Yeah.
They experience setbacks, stress, and they need to take a step back sometimes.
It's an important reminder for sure, especially when we're so bombarded with those like highlight reels of success.
Right.
This is where her story really gets real.
It does. And this is what led Yasmine to seek a fresh start, which eventually brought her to the UK.
Right, so that feels like a good place to pause
Okay.
and transition to part 2 of our deep dive.
Sounds good.
We'll explore what happens next in Yasmine's journey.
Okay.
Her move to the UK, her financial awakening, and the birth of her current venture, Dija.
Very intriguing.
So we left off with Yasmine kind of needing a change,
Yeah.
moving to the UK. What was her mindset like then? Was she like ready to jump back into the startup world?
Not right away. I think after all that with Supermama and Cushies, she needed a break.
Yeah, I bet.
She ended up at Citibank as an innovation strategist,
Okay.
and that ended up being a pretty big turning point for her.
It sounds like she was kind of drawn to that world of finance, even if it wasn't through her own company just yet.
Yeah, exactly. It gave her a chance to see what was happening in fintech in the UK.
Okay.
But it also led to this personal financial awakening.
Ooh, a financial awakening.
Okay, I'm all ears. What do you mean by that?
Well, get this. Despite all her business success, and selling Supermama.
She realized she had 0 personal investments.
Wow, seriously? That's kind of surprising considering her background.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But it really shows how much those unspoken cultural norms can influence us.
Yeah,
She said that money just wasn't something people talked about in her family.
right.
It was like this taboo topic.
Interesting.
And that held her back without her even realizing it.
It's amazing how we inherit those financial habits and mindsets, right?
Absolutely. We don't even realize it half the time.
So how did this realization impact Yasmine? Like, how does she react?
It was a total game changer for her.
Okay.
At Citibank, everyone around her was investing and managing their money.
Right.
And she realized how different that was from her own approach.
I see.
It really made her want to learn and understand finance. And then she wanted to share that with other Muslim women who might be in the same boat.
Okay, so this is where Dija comes in.
Exactly. Ja's like the culmination of everything she's been through.
Okay.
Her entrepreneurial spirit, her commitment to financial literacy. It's directly addressing the challenges she faced herself.
Okay, so let's break down Dija then.
Yeah.
What makes it so special in this whole world of fintech?
Well, it's all about removing those obstacles that prevent a lot of Muslim women from engaging with their finances.
Okay.
It's got education, community, and investment all in one.
And all within that framework that aligns with their faith.
Exactly.
So that's a really comprehensive approach. What are the key elements that make it work so well?
So first, you've got the education piece.
Oh?
They take all these complicated financial concepts.
Yeah, which can be scary.
Yeah, and they break them down into bite-sized pieces.
Okay.
Short videos,
Yeah.
interactive modules, stuff like that.
So it's more approachable.
Exactly.
You know?
A more intimidation factor.
Yeah, that's so important when it comes to finance, making it accessible.
Totally. And then there's the community aspect.
Okay.
This online forum where women can connect anonymously,
Okay.
ask questions, share their experiences, support each other.
It sounds like a very safe space.
Yeah, no judgment. Which is crucial when you're talking about something that's been taboo for so long.
Right, so they can finally have those open conversations about money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the third piece is investment.
Okay.
They're building a platform to connect women with Sharia-compliant investment opportunities.
That's really cool. Can you explain a little more about what makes an investment Sharia compliant?
Sure. Basically, it means the investments follow Islamic principles.
Okay.
So no investing in things like alcohol gambling or interest-based lending.
Got it.
And there's also a focus on ethical stuff like social responsibility and the environment.
So it's about aligning your money with your faith and values.
Exactly.
Which is a big deal for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this brings us to something else interesting about Dija.
Okay.
They're really focusing on Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Why there specifically?
Well, the market potential is huge.
Okay.
The Muslim female workforce in the UK is about 300,000.
Right.
But in Saudi Arabia, it's over 6 million.
Wow. That's a massive difference. It's plus Saudi Arabia is going through all these changes with Vision 2030.
Right.
There's a big push for women's empowerment.
I've heard about that.
More women are working, earning money, and they need financial guidance.
So Dija is like perfectly timed for all of that.
Exactly.
Mm.
It's like a market that's ready to be disrupted.
I mean, it sounds like a smart move, but was it risky to focus solely on Saudi Arabia?
Well, yeah, there are definitely some strategic considerations.
Right.
But Yasmine saw the potential,
Mm.
and she was really drawn to the energy of Saudi women.
Okay.
and it seems to be paying off. She's already won awards at a big fintech conference in Riyadh.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it really seems like Dija is set up for success, both in terms of its mission and its market strategy.
And a lot of that comes back to those lessons Yasmine learned along the way, right?
Definitely. Those early ventures taught her a lot, even though
Mm.
they were tough.
Okay, so let's dive into those lessons then and how they've shaped Dija in part 3 of our deep dive. All right. So we've seen how Yasmine went from those big corporate jobs to starting Super Mommy and Cushies.
Yeah.
And now she's on to Dija. So let's talk about those lessons she learned from those early companies and how they shaped Dija.
Yeah. You know, those early ventures, they were tough,
Right.
but they taught her so much. Like, one of the biggest things
Yeah.
was how crucial it is to have the right co-founder.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, she learned that the hard way with Cushies,
Right.
and it seems like she really took that to heart with Dija.
It's so important, isn't it?
It is. It's like finding a business partner for life.
Yeah, you got to be aligned on so many levels.
Exactly. Values, vision, everything. And it's interesting, actually.
What's that?
Her co-founder for Dija is actually based in Seattle.
Really? Seattle? Wow, that's far from Saudi Arabia.
It is. It just shows you how global the startup world is these days.
For sure. So they must be doing a lot of virtual collaboration.
Oh, yeah. Tons. And get this, they actually reconnected through LinkedIn,
Oh.
proving that even those old connections can come in handy.
It's a good reminder to stay connected with people, even if it seems like they're in a totally different world.
Absolutely. You never know. So besides the co-founder thing, what other lessons has Yasmine applied to Dija?
Yeah. What else has she taken away from those early experiences?
Well, another big one is the importance of community,
Okay.
both in her personal life
Yeah.
and in business.
Right.
You know, we talked about how she built that sense of community with Supermama.
Yeah, even with all the internal struggles.
Exactly.
Mm.
And that's a big part of Dija, too.
It makes sense, creating that safe space where women can connect and support each other.
Yeah, especially when we're talking about something as sensitive as finances.
For sure. So it's not just about giving them information.
No, it's about fostering those real human connections.
I love that approach because sometimes it feels like the business world is all about transactions.
Yeah, it can be very transactional.
Yeah.
But Yasmine is all about genuine relationships.
Yeah, and that really shines through in her work.
It does. And then, of course, there's the most important lesson of all.
Yeah.
The thing that's been there throughout her whole journey.
You mean that commitment to empowering Muslim women?
Exactly.
Yep.
It's her mission. It's what keeps her going through all the ups and downs.
It's really inspiring.
It is. It's about making a real difference in people's lives. So what about the future?
Yeah, where does Yasmine see Dija going? What kind of legacy does she want to leave behind?
Her vision is pretty amazing. She wants to be a role model,
Okay.
not just for Muslim women, but for anyone who hasn't had strong female role models in their life.
That's powerful.
It is. She wants to show people what's possible, break down barriers, inspire a new generation.
And it seems like she's already doing that.
Yeah, she's definitely making waves, getting recognized as a leader in the field.
And what I find so impactful
What's that?
is how open she is about the whole journey. You know, the good, the bad, the doubts.
Right.
It makes her story even more relatable and inspiring. It does. It reminds you that those impactful journeys, they're rarely straightforward.
No, they're not.
There are going to be challenges, but those challenges can actually lead you to your purpose.
Absolutely. And having those genuine connections along the way makes it even more meaningful.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So as we wrap up our deep dive on Yasmine El-Mehairy,
Okay?
I want to leave our listeners with something to think about.
Yeah.
How can you apply her insights to your own life?
Good question.
Whether it's talking about money more openly or exploring investments or even just becoming more aware of your financial goals.
Yeah.
Yasmine's story shows us that taking control of your finances, it's totally possible.
It is. And it's interesting how her story goes beyond just one culture or background.
Right.
It's about perseverance, finding your purpose, the power of community. Those themes are universal.
Absolutely. It's a story for anyone who's ever felt lost or unsure or afraid to chase their dreams.
I think that's a great takeaway. So to all our listeners out there,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Yasmine's world.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
And remember, we always love hearing from you. So if you have any thoughts or questions, or even your own aha moments from this story, please share them with us.
Because as Yasmine has shown us, sharing our experiences, connecting with others, and learning from each other, that's how we all move forward.